So, hello and welcome back to IRreCams Infrared Photography. Today I want to talk about a new darktable version 4.2. First of all, thanks to all developers and supporters for making this great new version possible. It was released in December and there are a lot of really great, nice features that are added to the software. You know that I'm only talking here about the infrared specific changes, and yeah, to make it short, there are nothing. I mean, we have exactly the same workflow as in 4.0, but instead of ending the video here, I want to show you how to set up darktable for infrared image editing as a beginner, and I want to speak about how the program is ticking and what to avoid and what to do when you are really new to darktable. So this is not a video for long-time darktable users, but for beginners. And what to do and what not to do, you can see right after the intro. So here we are. You can see we are in 4.2, and on the darktable is organized in 4 parts, more or less in 5 parts. You have the center view here in the middle of the image. Then you have a left, a right, a top, and a bottom panel. I think it's called. And we can start on the left panel. We can see that there's an import button. We don't see any image here in the center view, and if you want to edit or change any image, we need to import that first. And here under import, there are 2 buttons. First, add to library, and second, copy and import. The difference is that copy and import is for copying images from a memory card first onto your PC. And the second option is that you only import your image when you already have it on your hard disk. And we can do that by clicking on this. And we can see that there are some places we can add custom places, or we can use the ones that are already there. I have a pictures folder, and in that there's subfolders called raw, and for each episode that I've done, there's another subfolder. We are now in episode 43, and when I click on it, you see on the right side there are 3 pictures. We can just mark 1 or 2, or we can mark all 3 of them. Images 3 out of 3 are selected, and when I click this button, add to library, the images are imported, and darktable now knows that they are there and can use it. After you have imported any kind of image, you can use this collections module here and show your film roll. This is I think a film roll it's called every time you hit the import library button. Or you can choose folder, and I personally prefer folder, but that's up to you. And here you can see that we have a folder named episode 43 with 3 pictures in them. You can also search for past imports and find pictures that have already been imported to your history and to your library. So this is really handy. And another really handy thing is this image information panel here. If you click on it, you can see that you can read some kind of EXIF information, for example. This comes really handy when you're dealing with a lot of pictures and you don't know which settings you have been chosen on image creation. But to save some space, I will collapse these. And now let's get down to the bottom part here, to the bottom panel. You can see on the bottom side there is some kind of timeline. I personally like to have much more space in the center view, and because of that I use this white arrow here in the center. And when clicking on it, I can toggle between different modes and views, and I like these ones that are really relatively compact. When one image is chosen, I can change the star rating from the bottom or add a color, for example. You can see that this image now has 2 stars and the color orange is assigned to it. After I've done that, I can now in the top panel choose whether I only want to show pictures with a specific star rating, for example. I can filter these images, or I can choose to show 1, 2, and 3 star images only, or can choose to show all stars. And also I can choose to maybe only show pictures that have these color orange assigned to them. These are filter options that can be configured. Just for the start, you need to know that they are there and you can use it. But if you don't want to use it, you can only show everything. Here on the top right, you can see this icon here, Global Preferences. And when you click on it, a pop-up shows that you can manipulate some settings. Generally, you don't need to change anything in here. But there are 2 specific settings that we need to address. And these can be found here in this tab Processing. When you click on it, you can see the first one, Auto Apply Pixel Workflow Defaults. There is either scene referred or display referred. Infrared images work well with scene referred. You can use it, but I only recommend this for users that have experiences with darktable. If you are not experienced, it's better for you to just use display referred. And in my darktable tutorials, I will use display referred all the time. And I recommend you to change this to this display referred setting. Right below is the auto apply chromatic adaptation defaults. This sounds quite confusing, but what it means is how the white balance in the image is taken, which process is chosen. Standard is legacy, and I highly recommend you to leave it on legacy. Modern is not working well for infrared. So maybe you have messed around with your settings or something. You can go back and check that this setting is to legacy, and this is really important to keep it on legacy for infrared. Okay, as I said, the other settings here, you don't need to touch them. We can close the darktable preferences and have set up everything that we need. Here on the right side, there are some more or less advanced features that we can use. We can maybe edit our metadata like tags and stuff. We can add text is here, sorry, metadata is something different. But you can manipulate your images in different ways. That is nice, but a little bit too advanced for beginners, I think. And one thing that we really need to talk about is about export. Because after you have imported your images, you have done some changes to them, you want to export them to something else. This export options here, you can see you can export to a file on a disk, but you can also, for example, send us an email or something like that. We will keep it as file on disk. You have here one button to select a directory where you want to save your images, your exported images. You can use that, or you can leave or keep the standard setting here. You can see a text line, and I want to translate this for you. Here, the file folder, this means that the folder where your raw image is in right now will be taken as a base folder. Then another folder will be created. It's named darktable exported. And in this darktable exported, your new files will be saved under the standard file name that the original file had. For example, this is the infrablue -1, and the file name of the exported will be also infrablue -1.jpg, for example. You can change this, or you can leave it just like it is. It's up to you. The next one is the file format. This is a lot more interesting. The standard is JPEG 8-bit. It's a common file format, and you can use the slider here to change the quality setting and the size of the JPEG. But maybe sometimes you want to export to another file format, for example, TIFF. It's a very common. And when you change to the file format to TIFF, you see that another different settings appear. For example, you can choose 8, 16, or 32-bit bit depth, you can change the compression and so on and so forth. Depending on your file format, you have different options to manipulate it. But for now, we can just use JPEG 8-bit as our normal default setting. The next one is global settings. You can see size is the width and the height limit. You can, when you leave it at 0, it will export at the maximum amount of pixels that your image has. But maybe you want to make you want to export smaller pictures, then you can, for example, type in 1920 by 1080 pixel, for example, to optimize it for a website or for a slideshow or something like that. And the other settings here, I would recommend to not change it. And now when you click on an image, you can now hit the export button here. This is not complicated, I think. One thing that we need to talk about is the mode that Darktable is working in. Right now we are in lighttable mode. You can see it here on the top right side. And lighttable mode means that you can organize and show more than one images. You also have the darkroom mode. This is where we can actually perform image editing on one single image. And we have other modes, for example, map, print, slideshow, tethering, and so on. I won't show you details on this stuff, but of course we have to talk about the darkroom. And when selecting an image, now we can click on darkroom, and the image will appear now in the center as one big file and one big preview. You also have a smaller preview on the top left, and on the top right there's a histogram. And most of the stuff here on the top will be unchanged, and you can access them. On the bottom you can see that there are 3 pictures that are actually in our folder. So you can, for example, go to the first image or go to another image and select them for editing. If you want, you can leave it there. I personally like to hide it and have a little bit more room and place here at the bottom. And you can just click on this triangle to cycle between different modes. The bottom is more or less interesting, but I won't go into deep right now. More interesting is on the left side. You have, for example, the export module. This is the same that we have talked about before. You can manage your mask or show image information. You can also do tagging and some other things. One thing that I find particularly interesting is the history stack. When you click on it, you see that these are the changes to the image that have been done from different modules, and this is in the order of the changes that were taken. In the order that they have been taken. As you notice, I don't have done anything to the image yet, but there are some modules and some edits that are already applied. And this is the standard behavior of the Darktable. More or less the base image editing that is done. We can undo most of it, but we don't need to. So I think it's best to just leave it as it is. So now, taking a look at the right side of the Darktable window, you can see different modules, and these modules are combined in different module groups. You have technical, for example. Here are some different modules. You can see that there's a grading and a effects group. And here you have a different set of different modules. You notice that there are really a lot of modules, and I doubt that you never will use all of them. And it's a good idea to break them down and only show the modules that you are using the most. And how we can do this, I will show you in a second. We need to talk about this module group here. This is looking like a power on-off switch, and when you click on it, you can see that all the modules that are actually active are now shown here in your in this module group. For example, if we go to the grading tab, and now we want to activate Velvia, we can use this power switch here at the top. When we click on it, it becomes white. And now that the module is active, you can see that it appears here in the active module group. Yeah, so you can't hide this one. This is always there. When we take it out, it will disappear right after we switch forth and back to it. You see now Velvia is out of this list again. In case you want to edit one of these settings in one module, you have to click on the name of the module. And now it expands and you can see different settings. For example, temperature and tint here for white balance is a common setting. Or by orientation, you can rotate left and right and so on. The settings depend on what kind of module you are opening. And it would be too much to go in detail to every module now. But you just need to know that they need to be clicked, and then you can change the settings. On the right side, beneath the name, you can see some other icons here. The first one is called instance. You can duplicate one module and make it processed on the image like 2 or 3 times with different settings. You can also reset all parameters. For example, if you have messed up totally with your white balance and this is like looking really ugly, you can click this reset parameter and you are going back to standard settings. And also on the right side, you see a little burger menu, this 3 lines. When you click at it, you can define some presets. This comes handy when you do the same task more or less often. So on the left side here, you see the quick access panel. When we click on that, we have a collection of different sliders from different modules all at one panel. This comes in very handy because you don't have to go to the white balance for temperature and then exposure and click and find every module and then open it and then change one setting and go to the next module. Here you can have them all at once, all at one glance. And this is really handy to automate the most common tasks and do them really fast. Of course, this is optimized. The whole view is optimized for the normal photography. And if you want to use these for our infrared photography, we need to break this a little bit down and maybe only use the presets and modules that we really need. We can then, to manipulate it, click here on the right side on this burger icon. Presets, we can choose different presets and we can manage our presets here at the bottom. And if I click on it, now you can see that we have different model groups and we can make our own new preset. I click on new and let's call it infrared. And with this new infrared preset, we can see we have one base model group. We can add another model group, and maybe this has the name of new. We can change it, of course. We can now add some modules to these module groups. All available models you can see here. They are quite a lot. And let's go with sharpen. I have added the sharpen module to the new modules group. And I also want to maybe add one new slider to the quick access panel. And I can go to all available modules here and then see our sharpen module, and I can choose different sliders from this module. I want the amount slider. So, and when I have done and configured everything how I need it, I can close this one. And now I have to select my just created preset infrared, and when I click on it, you see that I'm now here on the quick access panel. You can see that I have the sharpen module with the amount slider. I can change it directly here by the quick access panel. And I also have a base group with some kind of modules that are a preset, and I have my new group with my sharpen module that I wanted to have. You can with using this, you can really fine-tune how Darktable looks and how you are using it. But I have to admit, it's a lot of work to come to a point that you have all in that you need and that you really use. I don't want you to do that all in detail. And so I have created a preset for you to download for free. You can find a link down in the description. And yeah, when you have downloaded it, you can see here that the IRreCams, it's a zip file. You can then unzip it to your PC, and in this file you see that there is a file called model groups IRreCams.dt preset. You have to import this file, and in order to do that, you can go back to darktable. You can choose here the preferences menu. Go to preset here on the left, and now on the right there is a button called import. When I click on it, you can see in the downloads folder, you can find your just downloaded DT presets file and open it. And after doing this, you are already done. You can close the preferences. And now when going back to your presets here in the darkroom mode, you can see that a new preset called IRreCams has appeared. And when clicking on it, you can now see one module group with all the modules that I usually use, that I recommend, and that I will show in all my videos that are here on YouTube. And yeah, these are the most essential stuff for infrared photography, and you barely ever need anything more than that. And I also have configured my quick access panel with all the settings and stuff that I show in my videos and that I normally use. And you can feel free to import this preset and change it and manipulate it to your needs, maybe adding some modules that you find are better suited for your photography. That's it. I think that saves you some hours of work. Now, if you are ready with your editing, well, we haven't done anything. Let's just make a monochrome image out of it and maybe make it a little bit brighter. Just when you are ready with your image and you edit and you are happy with how the image looks, you can go back to your lighttable. And by doing so, the settings and changes are already saved. You can see that we now have a black and white image here that we are ready to export because we want to maybe upload it somewhere, or we want to print it or whatever. When selected this image, you can just hit the export button here. And this would be really fast, I think. Yeah, now he's ready and tells me the path where it was exported. And when I go to this, you can see that here are my RAW files in this folder. Darktable has created a Darktable exported folder. And in this folder now, you can find the ready exported image as a JPEG file. So that's it, a basic workflow from import to edit and to export in Darktable. I think that's a good starting point for you if you are new to Darktable. I will go more into depth with my editing, of course, in next videos and also in the past videos. You can have a look if you want. I hope that you have learned something and that this was interesting to you. If there are some questions and you don't know where some particular settings is or how you can use Darktable, just leave me a comment, and I hope to see you in one of the next videos. Stay safe and bye!